Here we go, we're going to make a U bracket. Looks like this. Here is my front view or my base view and my projected top view. Taking a look at it, the cross section here is right here in this front view. In the top edge of this is right here, and that's this part here. This top edge is this part right here, and it's right up here in this view. This big flat right here is this line and this surface. So looking at this coming around, wrapping around here, understanding how to design for manufacturing and how to design are two different things. So, and let me explain that. This piece here, I can see I'm going to draw this shape and just extrude it back. So let's take a look at that. So I started with this sketch right here, fully defined it, did my 1.5 inch, 3, quarter inch, quarter inch, quarter inch, and this should be 0.75, and hit the check, and then I just extruded that. Got the shape, that's completely done and correct. Now, if we focus on how we're going to actually make this piece, I'm looking at this chunk of material here, and this is one object. It's not an assembly. It's not multiple pieces stuck together. So if I think about this as a chunk of wood or a chunk of metal or a chunk of plastic, whatever I'm going to make this piece out of, I'm going to have to get a chunk that's going to contain the entire size. So really I'm going to look for my overall dimensions. My overall height is 1.5, my overall width is 3, and my overall depth is 1.5. So 1.5, 1.5, and 3. So let's talk about that this way. I'm going to roll back to here, and now I have a block that's 1.5, 3, 1.5. So I took and I made a sketch back here that's on the front view that's 1.5 tall by 3 wide, and then I extruded that 1.5 deep. Then I came back on top and taking a look at it back over here. Then I did my first cut. My first cut, I think about it in rectangles. I take chunks out in rectangles. When I manufacture this, I would come here and I would take this chunk out first. Okay? So I go back to here and I drew the sketch on the front view. It's right here, and it's taking that chunk out. So I'm going to leave a 1/4 inch left here and 0.75 inches left here. So it's a 1/4 inch in, up here, 0.75. I'm going to update that. Because I rolled it back, it's showing up the incorrect way. So 1/4 inch, 0.75, drew a rectangle on the front surface, and then extruded that back. Cut that off. Then the last part that I have to take care of, let me roll this forward for a second. And then I'll update this. You can see whatever I do on the one, it's going to be updating the following. So now I got to cut this chunk out, so it's a 1/4 inch, 1/4 inch, 1/4 inch. So I'm going to come, I did the sketch here. So let's go through this process, and then I did the cut. So I'm going to start with the sketch on the front view. Normal to plane, right click, normal to plane. 3, 1.5. And I'm going to do an extrude of that surface, go into isometric, 1.5. Check. So I got my first base block that'll hold the whole thing. Now I got to start cutting away. So I'm going to do my rectangle across the top. So I'm going to do a new sketch on this front plane. Right click, normal to sketch plane. Draw my rectangle coming back. And I could calculate this as 2.75, but I actually want to hold the dimensions that they're telling us to hold. So I'm going to go from here to here. So I use dimension tool, type D on the keyboard if you want to do dimension tool, click on the line you want to measure from, and then the line you want to measure to. Here to here. Struggling right now. And that's 0.25. And then the height of this end over here was 0.75. So click from the edge to here, 0.75. Notice I'm putting the same dimensions in that it gave me, 0.75, 0.25. Same dimensions it gave me. I don't want to change the dimensions there. Hit the check. We're going to do an extrude. We're of course going to do a remove. If it's not showing up, I'm going to click on the section to remove, and instead of blind, we're going to go through all, and I'm happy with that, and I'm going to go check. Now I got the first part of the L done. Coming up next, we're going to get that second little in cut. So I got this part cut off. Now I got to get this little in cut. 0.25, 0.25, 0.25. No problem. Zip back here, do a new sketch in the front view, draw my rectangle, start at this corner right here because I already want to lock it to that corner, and just bring it over here. Dimension, there to there, 0.25, there to there. 0.25, and hit check, extrude, remove, 1.5, and I got to check this out here, click it, instead of 1.5 I just want to go through all. So I'm going to cut that off, and I'm going to hit check, and it's going to be done. Hit T, right click, isometric, and screenshot this. Now, one thing I want to do quick here is hit display mask properties. Click on part 1, and you should see, to check to make sure you're right, you should see this to be correct, 1.781 inches squared. So now I know I've completed this. So you're going to screenshot. I need to see your 3 extrudes. I need to see your name. I need to see that, 1.781, and I need to see this drawing right here. So I'm going to screenshot that and upload it to this file.